When you start to approach the end of the paddling season, there's a sweet spot just at the tail end of summer and into the very, very beginning of fall, where it's not too cold yet and the leaves have just started to change color. You have those first few nights that start to go to freezing or just below, and that triggers that chemical change, tells the trees that they need to start preparing themselves for winter. And you start to see those beautiful color changes, and you get that wonderful, wonderful time where it just explodes into a riot of yellows, reds, oranges, and all kinds of colors that you otherwise never see in the otherwise green forest. And for me, there's no better place to go see this than in Algonquin. This is maple country here, so if you want to have a taste of this incredible autumn scenery, this is where you want to be. I forgot how quiet the forest gets in this early part of fall. It was deafening last night. There wasn't a breath of wind on the lake, and there was not a sound or a twig snap or an owl call or a single bird sound the entire night. It was so crazy quiet that it was loud. It was eerie, actually. Different kind of pace of trip for me when I'm waking up and having pancakes on the very first day after having not paddled in very far on the first night. But that's what this trip is. It's just going to be taking it slow and enjoying. It's not too ambitious of a route. It's maybe 3 nights, and I'm going to be sort of looping around to just a few lakes here in the north of Algonquin. It's kind of a victory lap on the season of good paddling and just wanting to really savor the fall scenery, take it slow, just enjoy this nice pace, just focus on relaxing, enjoying the feeling of paddling, and just really just savoring this incredible early October weather and these peak fall colors. It's crazy. T-shirt weather right now. T-shirt weather all night by the fire last night. Probably going to be 25, 26 Celsius today. Pretty wild when you look at these colors here and know that it's October. It does not happen very often, so no rain in the forecast either. Pretty beautiful and ideal early fall conditions that, you know, don't come around all that often, so taking it, savoring it. It never ceases to amaze me, the range and vibrancy of the color change on these maples. Some of them are just a deep, deep crimson red, almost purple. You've got yellows, oranges, and kind of like every shade in between. It's such a nice and beautiful change from the, you know, more uniform green of the forest at any other time. When you have weather like this, that makes it feel like it's still summer. Pretty much makes it about as good as it gets for this part of the world here.
So that is part of the remains of the old Ritchie Brothers Lumber Company. Don't know much else about it, but there you have it.
It's always cool when you get to see some of those echoes of Algonquin's past, right? Of course, the human history of here goes back thousands of years, but in terms of more visible history, in the last, couple hundred years is when all the logging and, industry was in here. And if you know where to look, there's still plenty of signs of that left over. Little twisty turny creek section here. It's shallow, but it's deep enough to paddle, although it's got lily pads all throughout it. Sometimes there's not really a clear lane and you just have to sort of power through the muck, but very pretty. This is a really beautiful lake, Mouse Lake. It is a circular round lake, not rocky at all, and it's surrounded by high hills of maple, basically ringed around it all over. It's really, really pretty to be here right now. Just backing up on the campsite here, there's birch and yellow beech and maple interspersed with that. Be a really nice, colorful place to just take a little walk through. Beautiful place to be right now. Mouse Lake feels very tucked in, feels very much in the heart of Algonquin here, and surrounded by these beautiful maples. I couldn't ask to be in a better place right now. Sun went down at 6:45 and it is now 20 after 7 and it's getting pretty dark, so we'll go to sleep early, but not at 7:30, so stay up for a little bit here. That's one thing about these fall trips, is there is not a lot of daylight compared to, you know, the peak of the season. It is so dark right now. It's not even 8 o'clock. What's one to do? Except go to sleep really early. Beautiful calm morning here. It's about 9 o'clock. It's been light for a while, but the sun is just kind of now peeking up over the edge of my campsite area. Starting the day off with a couple of big portages. It's just a quick paddle here, and I've got about a 1,700 meter portage with 55 meters of elevation gain, which is really pretty hefty. So I've got that to look forward to in about 2 minutes time. I've brought the canoe through on the first load and I'm just now coming back for the other pack. It is a long portage, there's no question, but the the ascent is pretty gradual, so it's at a nice steady pace, and it is absolutely gorgeous in here. It is a fall maple wonderland. And when you don't have the canoe on you, it's a pleasure to walk through. Yay! Just coming up to the second of the two big portages of the day. This one's a 1.5. And then after that, it's pretty much just some nice lake paddling. So always nice to get the hard part of the day done early in the morning, or before noon, and then take it easy the second half. So this will feel good once I'm on the other side of it. Oh, okay. Major portages of the day done. Feels good. Pulling out the double blade because I don't want to have to fight the wind at all. I'm feeling tired after those portages and I want it to be a little easier. Sue me. On Arabla Lake right now, which is French for maple. And from there, I'm going on to Maple Lake, which is English for Arabla. Weird, eh? I'm not in the mood for this headwind right now. It'd just be nice to just not have it. Is that so much to ask? Just not putting the wind directly in my face the whole way up this lake. Maple Lake is very appropriately named. It is a cacophony of orange, yellow, reds. You like that word, cacophony? It's pretty good, eh? Maples all around, and pine and spruce, of course. Just a really gorgeous look and feel to this lake. Refreshing. So if I'm correct, these are actually arrowhead plants, and these are edible. They have a tuber that grows at the root, at the bottom, which I think can be harvested in the fall or something, and was a food source for indigenous peoples. And I actually heard that the women would be the ones harvesting it, and they would be pulling the roots up with their toes because they'd be doing it either in the late fall or early winter when the water was freezing cold. I have no idea if there's any truth in that, but that is what I heard from what I hope is a reliable source. Just hammering back pistachios here. Pistachios and dates. Like some kind of sultan. Tired. Only made it about 12 or 13K today, but with those portages, about 3.5K portage, doubling back over those and some headwinds on Arabla Lake there, took it out of me. And it's hot for October. It's warm. So all of those were factors.
Dinner tonight is a veggie chickpea curry and some basmati rice.
For doing dishes, I like to do 2 sinks, one for the washing and one kind of for the rinsing, and then I scatter the water, kind of back in the woods around the campsite, kind of disperse it. That way, not washing dishes in the lake, and not causing really any food attractants. Every time I've come to Algonquin and I've checked in at the permit office, I've noticed this like dusty magazine rack full of kind of like brochures and little things about the park, and I never really bit and bought on them. And this time I actually got a few of them. Pretty interesting stuff, actually. It's produced by the Friends of Algonquin, and I would recommend picking it up if you want to learn a little bit more about especially the human history of the area here. It's really, really cool, and there's quite a storied history through a number of different eras, These pick up from the more modern times, but so setting aside all the thousands of years of indigenous settlement, and then, from the beginnings of the first, timber barons and logging that started to happen up here, and the first recreational tourism, early days of lodges with 5-star accommodations, things that don't exist in the park anymore. Back in the golden age of rail, when you needed to get in here by train. Just really cool stories and really cool tidbits.
I've noticed this trip I've been pretty tired. My body just hasn't had it like it does on other trips. I've been finding myself fatigued on these portages. The last portage had a fair bit of elevation drop. It was going through a sort of a ravine where the creek was dropping, and it was pretty rocky. And now it's deposited off into like a very flat section where there's a lot of alder, a lot of grass. It's still warm, but those fall winds are starting to come in. It's getting pretty windy, a little choppy out on Kayashkokwi Lake here, which is where I'm going to be paddling back to my car in a few minutes and just wrapping up this nice little fall trip. I came out here for the colors and they didn't disappoint. It was really beautiful to be able to go trek and portage through these forests when it is this time of year, and it made those portages even like just a little bit less strenuous, just knowing you had that beauty around you. And even though we are kind of grunting away and kind of cursing your life at different times when you're in the middle of a long portage, I don't take it for granted that this is a pretty special place to be, and to be able to see these beautiful fall colors, these sugar maples that change like this, is something that is not in a lot of parts of the world, you know? So we're very lucky here if you live somewhere like in Ontario or perhaps in, you know, New England and other places where there is a lot of maples, that you get to see these beautiful classic autumn foliage, right? Or foliage if you're of some region that I don't know where. Foliage or foliage, whatever it may be, it's all very beautiful, and it's nice to be able to come out here and enjoy it. This was not bad at all, and this weather was better than not bad. So real taste of summer here that I got to extend into October, and that's always a good thing. So thank you for watching.